All right, so welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at Amazon. So the big question that I got was, is this stock ready to pull back? I mean, it's been doing quite well recently. So from a stock analysis perspective, where are we in this stock? And is it going to pull back anytime soon? Now, if we go ahead and take a look at, hey, some of the stocks moving today, we've got Shopify doing pretty well. You got Best Buy doing pretty well as well. Google, Apple, Amazon, not doing so hot. So if you look at just the overall news cycle of what's going on with this Amazon stock, you've got a handful of different things happening, from investing in $100 million here AI because they're trying to get into it. You've got this hub that's starting to happen that they're trying to go ahead and use florists, coffee shops, and so on to go ahead and do some deliveries, which kind of makes sense, actually, pretty smart. And then you've got this cloud unit for Ohio, and then also expand investments over there in India. So there's a ton of news related things that are happening and going on. And I highly think, hey, it's doing the right things overall in general because it is actually a big boy. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick peek here at the chart because all that news is just, well, it's just fluff in general. What comes down to are people actually putting money into work. And if we look at long-term, from a long-term perspective, when we look at this stock is doing fantastic and kind of moving up on the trend. We did have this recent pullback here in that 22 cycle. But as we get into 2023, it started to round this back up, and we're starting to press a little higher. So here's some of the things to watch for when you look at it from a technical basis. So overall, we know the trend is doing well and doing quite moving to the upside. So you could say, hey, this pullback was kind of a massive buying opportunity. Now, if you miss the pullback, and you're trying to now kind of nibble back into it, this 90 was kind of a key support level, but now we're getting into this 140 level, which could act a little bit of a problem zone and a little bit of resistance. So if you're looking for a little pullback, you might actually get it here coming up soon. So checking out this daily chart, what's happening is, if you go into this gap that we had around August time, you're kind of coming right into that gap zone. You can see it's coming right into that resistance. So what I would do is, if you're kind of hesitant about it, is watch this 110 to this about 130 zone and see if you can get it a little bit on that pullback. And that's when you can start to look for a little bit of a nibbling opportunity. Because you're thinking, hey, the stock's been doing well, it continues to do well, I want to get more exposure into it. And if that's the case, these are kind of the spots and areas to watch. Now, if we break through, again, be very cautious because you are a little bit stretched. So from this perspective, you've got upward trend, stretched a little bit, right? And then you got this new one, and now you got this third level trend. So you've got these trend lines that continue to accelerate. So it's tough to play catch up. Eventually you get a pullback, right? The further that stretches, you'll get a pullback, something along those lines. So that's where you want to be a little bit more cautious. Now, go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are on Amazon, just like other people here have done on the comments. Let me know your thoughts on what you think Amazon will do here over the next, let's say, a couple weeks or a month or two, because long-term trend has been pretty good and stable, but could we get a pullback? You never know. I mean, you just don't know. As for positioning these things, I would look for this 110, and then I would watch this bottom of that gap right here, or the top of the gap right here. Those are the resistance zones that you're kind of playing into from the stock. And also, the other thing to point out is you do have a little bit of bearish volume that's starting to come in, selling pressure right there that could act a little bit of a problem zone. If you like also upward trending, so here's an upward trend. If this breaks, that would be another area to either get out and let the stock a little bit consolidate. So in either case, long story short, you had this big pop here, you had a movement here. This is the 110 that could act as support. If it comes down and bounces, it could be a nice buying opportunity. This 130, because of the previous gap over here in August, that could act a little bit as resistance. So we could see a little pullback to that 110 and kind of bounce in that zone from a short-term perspective. Anyway, long-term, that's a whole different ball game aside. Things look good here from a longer term perspective. You have that pullback. Now it's kind of popping a little higher. You aren't seeing major buying stepping in on the long term yet. which, people are probably playing a little bit cautious. So you still don't see like massive buying opportunity or massive buyers coming in. And I wonder if it's the shorts taking profits. That could be. So be a little bit more cautious here if you're kind of getting into the stock. So anyways, that's just my take on this Amazon company, and just from a stock perspective. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff here going on news-wise and just companies in general. And from today's perspective, we've got Tesla, AMD, Nvidia. They're all pulling back, and the market's not doing so well or healthy in the moment. But we have been doing and trending overall fairly well. And if you kind of look at, S&P is kind of pulling back already on these charts. So even Nvidia now is doing a pretty significant pullback here on that downside. So be cautious, be careful. Truly appreciate you sticking with me, joining me, and I will see you in the next video update. Thanks again, and take care.